Hello, and welcome to Bite Size Video Series 1, Part 3 of Garden Enhanced Nutrition Education After School. I'm Carrie Stroll, the founder and leader of the School Garden Doctor. In this part of the series, we will look more closely at lesson pacing for your gene implementation. What time of year is it? Because I see zucchini and onions, I'm guessing that it's probably summer, because that is when those items are typically harvested. Although you might find most fruits and vegetables in the grocery store year-round, your local farmer's market is the best way to know what's in season, because if it's at the farmer's market, it means it was grown within a day's driving distance of your home. Understanding seasonality will help your gene pacing and make your garden lessons more successful. The State of the Plate report tells us that 53% of people eat vegetables fresh. That's great because the sooner most fruits and vegetables are consumed, the more likely they are to be most nutritious. There are several things to consider when pacing your gene implementation. For starters, you'll want to think about the time of year when you plan to begin. It's recommended that you begin as soon as the school year starts, earlier in the academic calendar, in part because that's when more fruits and vegetables are available that are familiar to kids. The number of lessons you have to devote per week will also influence how quickly you're able to introduce new lessons to kids. The length of each lesson and your experience level will also influence how you pace your lessons. Your pacing calendar will depend on when you start and how long your site has been incorporating gene. The Learn, Grow, Eat, Go curriculum can be started at any time, but keep in mind that you may need to adapt the pacing to match the growing season in your area. A typical LGEG lesson is called a week and includes 3 to 5 different activities. At first, you might only be able to fit one activity into your calendar week. So it might take about a month to complete one LGEG week's worth of activities. At this pace, it will take an entire year to complete the entire curriculum. However, if you're more seasoned with LGEG, you might be able to finish 4 or 5 activities in a week and complete the curriculum in 10 weeks or one season. Talk to your supervisor and program coordinator about more information about how to pace your lessons. If you're working with older students incorporating French fries in the food system, your pacing will look a little different. Here are some recommended ways to pace your curriculum. As stated, a typical week in LGEG has 3 to 5 lessons that last 30 to 45 minutes each. So you would have to teach LGEG almost every day to complete all 10 weeks in a single season of the year. To make an impact on students' nutrition knowledge and preferences for fruits and vegetables, we recommend at least one 30 to 60-minute session for gene each week. If you are using LGEG, a typical lesson might look like this. How often you take kids to the garden will depend on several factors, such as your access to the space, how big the space is, your knowledge and comfort with gardening, and the length of each of your lessons. The Grow section of LGEG offers tips for getting a garden started, but you'll need to look for additional resources to plan your garden lessons. Bite Size Video Series 2 will have more details about gardening, but a typical garden lesson might look like this. If you're new to gardening, it might take some time to achieve success. We recommend enlisting the help of volunteers to grow food you can use in your cooking or tasting lessons, or to start by sourcing from local food banks, farmers markets, or grocery stores so you can spend your time in the garden harvesting. And here are just a couple of final tips. Refer to the NCOE pacing guide and mark the lessons that you feel most comfortable starting with. Read through your lesson and think about how much time it will take to present, and list all the materials you need to successfully implement the lesson. Gather those ahead of time. Finally, draft a basic scope and sequence to keep your gene pacing and implementation on schedule. As always, reach out with questions and enjoy this bonus bite.